No. And we'll probably start like 3 or 4 minutes after 8:30. Make sure that everybody who wants to get on that jumps on has the opportunity to do so. Hi, everybody. It's 8:30. Welcome to our webinar for your college soccer future. And we'll wait about 3 minutes or so to make sure that everybody who would like to jump on from the beginning has a chance to do so. If you can mute your microphones, that would be great. And we'll be less than an hour. I believe our guests will join us closer to 9 o'clock, but we've got a bunch of stuff we're going through before then. And it looks like I've got it set now where I don't have to admit everybody, so they can come. They can come as they please. If you're waiting, you can kind of see that we've had 15 commit to college programs just in the last 3 years. That is not bad, not bad at all. So we're kind of celebrating those players on the first slide tonight. The originals were Olivia at Lewis and Clark and Isaiah at Finley down toward the bottom. And then the newer commits, Mo Donahue, Liam Rasmus, Zoe Heckinger actually still in the club. She'll be at PLU in the fall. And we'll get going in about a minute. I've opened up the chat box, so if you have any questions as we go, you can just throw them in there. I might recognize them or notice them as I'm sliding through the presentation and could pause and give you a straight up answer, hopefully. If not, I'll definitely check it at the end too. So, and we're kind of keeping the guests a little bit of a secret, a little bit of a surprise for you. Clues, both from the same conference. Uh, both head coaches. Both very experienced. Have coached at multiple colleges. Okay, so there, what, 20 of you guys? Thank you for joining us. Um, and I'm sure a few more will jump on as we go here. Some are finishing up training sessions and trying to get back and get in place. My name is Keith Blyer. I think most of you on this call probably know who I am. I'm the college placement director for Valor Soccer. Also coach two teams, Gold E64 teams in our premier program, Happen to be the father of a current college soccer player and also a head college soccer coach myself. I lead the Green River College women over in Auburn. That's a 2-year school, and I've led them through 2 seasons. So can kind of speak from all angles on all of this. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And obviously value your time, especially this time of year. Happy holidays, everybody. Grab some eggnog, unless you hate eggnog. Seems to be a polarizing subject. I'm an eggnog guy. So, all right, here we go. The first thing that we say, and we'll go through some of these slides that have, been shown to those of you that have joined us previously, our last webinar back in September. Uh, and we'll go through it just to kind of remind you of where you should be when it comes to your process, making sure you're on track or catching up. And then there's some newer information for you as well. Okay, but I firmly believe, and I speak from experience as I've kind of set up, um, every single Valor soccer player who is in our premier program can play at the next level, but they have to make it happen for themselves. Okay. And you've got to be motivated, right? So you've got to want it. You obviously have to keep playing soccer all the way through your high school years. Really important to be open minded about where you end up playing and at what level. So if you're in ninth grade and you've got the dream school and that's the only one that you're going to play college soccer for or at, you're really limiting your possibilities. So stay open minded. I added this last bullet point or this second to last bullet point about caring about your academic performance. You're going to find out tonight that how you do in the classroom is as important as how you perform on the field for your college soccer career. I'm not just talking about getting the degree. The better your GPA, the more you're doing in the classroom, the more soccer options you're going to have. But you have to be proactive, and that's always the word of the night when we do these webinars is be proactive, which means you've got to reach out. You have to be the person who makes contact. You've got to set the opportunities up for yourself. Um, you're trying to expose yourself um, to as many recruiters and as many programs as possible. They are not going to tap you on the shoulder and offer you a full ride. That's not how it works in the college soccer world. Okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll go through the year by year checklist really quickly. Um, there's a third free recruiting platform that I'm going to introduce to you tonight that I think you should jump on if you're familiar with the other two already. We're going to go over a video highlight reel and how to create one that works and is effective. Some updates on that. How to reach out to coaches in advance of a tournament. That'll be repeat information from September. And then really excited to talk to our college coaches in about 20 minutes or so. I will have a couple questions for them, and then you're going to put any questions you want into the chat box. Okay. So again, feel free to jump into that chat box and ask any questions you want as we fly through this stuff. I also, after we talk with the coaches, I'm going to share with you a list of upcoming ID camps. Spent quite some time this afternoon going through all the various websites to try to aggregate it for you, and we're going to talk about what the different ID camps are, which ones might have more value for you than others. And lastly, we'll just remind you about all the resources that are available on the website. Okay, so the checklist. This part is actually not on our official checklist. I added this today. In case there's someone on this call, because we have invited a couple of younger age groups, if the player is not yet in high school, what should you be doing? Nothing. Okay, relax. You're not really on the path yet. Just play soccer. I think it's fair to say that 90% of all college programs don't start evaluating about 95% of all youth soccer players until you're a sophomore or maybe even a junior in high school. What's the exception? Okay, I'll tell you what the exception is. How about you're a D1 program at a huge conference? Maybe you're Clemson, the national champions on the men's side. Uh, Maybe you're Florida State, the national champions on the women's side. You know who's on the U15 women's youth national team. Sure, you do. Or if you're one of those big men's programs, you might be battling with a professional academy that's trying to sign a 13-year-old. And then you might be making some contact, but they can't really reach out in firm ways. Okay, so relax if you're not yet in high school, but if you're on this call, good for you because you can inform yourself about what's to come. All right, if you're a freshman in high school right now, your academics matter more than attracting the attention of a college coach. I want you to create a free profile on NCSA and field level. And as I mentioned, I'm going to add one more into the mix tonight. Start creating a top 20 list of colleges, right? And do some research. Make sure that there are various levels. I think most of you know that NCAA soccer has three levels, Division One to Division Three. There's an NAIA that's completely independent of NCAA. And then there are also the 2-year options like Green River College, where I coach, and the really strong Northwest Athletic Conference. This is going to be a huge asset for you. This link immediately from this presentation to all of the men's and women's programs in the country. And again, I will make this slideshow available to you by putting it on our website in the next couple days. You can email college coaches for sure as a freshman anytime you play in, let's say, a showcase tournament, but understand that not many are going to reply because they're not allowed to yet. And maybe you want to attend 1 or 2 ID camps. Sophomore year, how about you drop that list down from 20 to 15 teams? Okay. And then if you are on a U16 to U19 uh, premier team, you have the ability to build a sports recruits profile and use all of those resources, which we'll go over here in a minute. And I need you to use that to the fullest extent if you want to maximize your exposure. Um, Start emailing college coaches with a little more regularity, right? And again, most are not going to reply because honestly, they prioritize the older classes. Sophomores don't get a lot of love, I guess is the way to put that. Um, there are some levels that can talk to college or high school sophomores, but for example, Division One and Division Two programs cannot. This is when you should start compiling video highlights, if not making a video reel for yourself. The importance of video, I can't stress enough. Okay. Um, Next, junior year, right? So now we're kind of narrowing it down. Maybe you've gone to a couple ID camps. Maybe you've been on campus. Maybe there are a couple coaches that have contacted you. So maybe your list is down to a top 10, and maybe you've added a school that has reached out. Um, and then now is the time to really email any coach on that list if you haven't already and communicate with them through the messaging system in sports recruits, which is really valuable because it goes straight to those programs. You don't have to search for their email addresses. And yes, most coaches now, if you're a junior in high school, are allowed to reply, and they might even reach out to you. But again, you're not going to get a ton of communication from them to you until your senior year. This is when you should have a highlight video or update one if you've had one for a year or so. Senior year, obviously, this is when it starts to get serious. You should start to apply to certain schools, especially if you've had any communication with any of those college soccer coaches. You should really be getting your list down between 5 and 10 schools. It should definitely be attending 1 or 2 ID camps that make sense for you. And then don't let the highlight video just sit there. Make sure that you're updating it. I would say on a semi-annual basis. So that's twice a year if you can. Okay. And then communication with any coach at any time is allowed. You should be proactive. You should walk up to coaches if you see them at matches, and they will be able to reply to you. If you get any contact from a college coach in any way, make sure that you reply. Even if you don't think you're going to go there because you actually don't know. You may not, you may do some research about the program or the university and go, wow, this is a great fit. And I didn't even know this college existed. That was my story. I didn't know about Santa Clara University in California growing up in Seattle until the assistant coach sat me down at my dining room table and offered me a spot in their program. And I think that was late in my junior year. All this stuff is available on the website, this checklist. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the free recruiting profile platforms. Okay. There are 3 that I think are probably the most popular right now. There are others out there. Some have kind of been really popular and lost a little bit of their popularity in terms of how many college coaches are on the platforms. As a college coach myself, I can tell you that these three are definitely legit right now. NCSA, and again, you can just click the link by clicking this icon when you get the slides in the next day or two. Field level, which is a lot of the high school soccer coaches are suggesting prospects out of that platform, but you can definitely create a profile there. And then Scouting Zone is the new one. As an example, if you're going to go play in the Pac Northwest Winter Classic next month, they're going to use Scouting Zone. And so you're going to be asked to create a profile, but you can go in as an individual player and create a profile yourself and then just link it when your team starts to put together their brochure, I guess is the way to put it. Now, here's an important point, guys, okay? Most of these programs, they have what they call the upsell, right? So they have upgrades that will come with a fee. And listen, there is value to that. I would honestly tell you that I think if you create a platform profile on these three platforms, and then you're on a premier U16 to U19 team, and you do all you need to do with sports recruits, you will be fine. I don't think you need to go out and pay for some of these services that are out there. Um, Here's what it kind of looks like, just if you're curious. The NCSA on the college coaches side looks like this. And as you can see, I can filter by state, graduation class, um, your year that is, right? GPA, whether or not the player has video, um, what their interests are academically. So the more you put in these profiles, the better, because then a coach can target exactly who they're looking for. But then they go through this and they start to reach out to players this way, sometimes without having seen them play in person. But that's the video thing, which is really important. Okay. I might be going a little too fast here to um, make sure the coaches jump on. Probably slow down. I told them to jump on by 9 o'clock. So um, happy to answer some questions. Maybe we'll skip ahead at some point. All right. So I think most of you know the VO camera system that we have within our club. We have 5 cameras, 3 of the new ones that have live stream capability and 2 of the older ones. Um, I will tell you that all of our coaches of our older teams, so anywhere from U14 up, in our premier program and even our select program, it's been suggested to them strongly by me that they reserve the cameras and get as much video of their teams as possible, right? Um, why is this? Well, first of all, it's for tactical analysis for sure. Also, it's for individual player development. There's nothing better aside from actually playing the game than watching yourself play the game. And so those are that's the first reason that we have those cameras. But I think the other 49% of it is so that you as a player, you as a family, you as a parent, let's be honest, some parents are going to be the ones making videos for their players. I did it for my son. You can watch the matches and download the videos. So let me say right now that if you're one of our U13 to U19 premier teams, if you're a select uh, player, you have had your coaches both request and be approved for the VO cameras. They can download the videos and get it to you. But if any of you have any problems downloading those videos so that you have them for yourself and can start to create clips, please reach out to me. Let me know. Here's a huge point. Okay. And I actually think it's even more than what this stat says. College coaches are 2 to 3 times more likely to initiate contact with a prospect if the profile that you have is uh, it includes video. Okay, and that can be 2 clips. That could be just 8 second. Here's a goal I scored. 10 seconds. Here's a great tackle I made. Or it could actually be a link to a full match. All right. Now that's not quite as effective as a highlight reel. Coaches will eventually ask for a full match if they're really doing their due diligence because you guys are all good soccer players. You're all parents of kids with talent. You can make yourself look good, but ultimately they're going to say, "I'd like to watch an entire match to see how you fit into the system, and whether you are doing well in transitional moments when the ball is 55, 60 yards away from you." Right? But they've surveyed college coaches, And I would say that it's actually, for me, 5 times more. I'm 5 times more likely to reach out to a prospect if I can just see a little bit of video and go, okay, this player is legit. Um, and then you get to know the player a lot more as a person, and obviously you try to see them in person as well. Try to see them play in person. What I will tell you about the general process is, or I guess the way to put it would be this: college programs will get very interested in a player without ever having seen them play in person if you're proactive. So you're sending out emails, you're staying in contact with them, you're replying to anything that they send to you, especially if you're a junior or senior, and you have video. And one of the best things to do is go, Coach, I got a new video. And that's a good email to send to one of them. Okay. The sports recruits platform, right? So this obviously is for currently our U16 to U19 premier players. Now, if you are not one of those players and you're on the call or a parent of one of those players, you can, as an individual, create a sports recruits account and create a profile. We can eventually, ultimately link it to our Valor Premier U16 to U19 team. Now, some of you might ask the question, well, why doesn't a U13 team have a sports recruits account? Why don't select players have this? Obviously, this is a comprehensive, well-constructed platform in which I believe it's the best one around. It comes uh, with a price for the club, and it's not that cheap. It's built into the player fees for those older players that are part of the Premier program. And those of you that have experience on it, I think you know the value. Um, there was a moment, honestly, about a year ago in which we were making as a club a couple tough decisions. And I really had to fight to make sure that we kept this platform because players came to me and said, Coach, we really love sports recruits. So, what is it about? Some of you know, some of you have no idea. Every college coach is accessible all the way through to the 2 year level, all the way up to Division I national champions. All their program information is instantly accessible, as is their contacts. Anytime a college coach interacts with you through sports recruits, you get a notification. You can embed any video that you make from basically any source into your sports recruit profile. Um, there's a built-in messaging system, right? So that you can just go click, 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 and now I'm sending an email to a specific coach. They have a great school search tool in which you can kind of filter by your geographic criteria. Maybe you only want to stay on the West Coast, or maybe your dream is to go out to the East Coast to one of those nice D3 schools in the mountains. Um, so you can look up all of those things. And then, of course, the profile that you create is very effective. I can speak as a college coach myself. The more you put in there, the better. And you can put in those videos, your athletic background, your academic interests. What I really like is a little profile statement. And I strongly suggest that you do that, that you write something in there so that coaches get a feel for who you are, right? You can create your own little target list of schools as well. And then there's an activity feed. It's almost like a social media channel where you kind of scroll through it and you can stay on top of things. Um, what I will also say about all of this is when you're in our sports recruits platform and you have your account, you should be getting correct. And let me know if you're not. But I would say every couple weeks, they do it very frequently. You should get an email that says we're doing a webinar on X, and rather than a general college placement presentation like this one, they do specific things. Like they'll spend a half an hour talking more about how to make a really good video. They will have a roundtable with coaches at times, and I have found those to be really valuable. If you can't join those webinars live, they make them available on their YouTube channel as well. So, sports recruits is something you really should use to the max. And here's an example. Hopefully Mike is all right with this. And Mike, if you're on the call, good job, dude. Um, this is his profile, and as you can see, he writes a little bit about himself, kind of a, I don't know what you maybe call it, a mission statement, right? Mission statement for soccer in life. Um, the team that he's attached to, which is automatically populated when I put the rosters together. Obviously, he goes to Kent Ridge High School. And then, as if you scroll down through this profile, you would see the video links and more about his academics. Okay, and then what you can do is, here's Kai, another player in our club. She scrolls through that college search tool, right, and she finds um, some information in regards to whether she wants to further research that program, and she gets to favorite those programs. And then now you're creating your own list, right? So that top 20 list that I asked you to create, you can actually do it through Sports Recruits. Okay. Um, and then this is what I see on my side as a director in the club. I'm not sure if this might actually be available to you as a player, but I can go in and I can see which players in our club are most active. Meaning, um, I know that Spencer Evanson has reached out to Grove City College, and here's an assistant coach from that program that has viewed his profile. It's kind of neat too. I wouldn't get too caught up in it. Don't feel like certainly as a high school freshman or sophomore that you should be having a bunch of coaches viewing your profile and looking at your video. But once this Division III program in Pennsylvania looked at Spencer's profile and video, that means they're interested. And that gives you a really good opportunity or insight into the fact that you might want to reach out to them if that hasn't already happened. Okay, let's spend about 5 or 6 minutes talking about your highlight video. Okay, and I know that if you were on in September, you probably heard some of these things. I want to remind you a few things, and I actually have a bit of an update and just kind of a personal opinion with my experience, um, within the club and coaching the college team myself, and as the father of a college player as well. Um, it's really the second best way to draw attention to yourself, aside from the luxury that is having a college coach watch you in person to any significant level. Okay. Um, and you can update them on your progress. Like I said, it's a wonderful tool when your video is updated, or nice little entree to send an email to that coach and say, "Hey, coach, I got a new video. Can you please watch it?" Ideal length. I've actually shortened this over time. I think about 10 years ago, I would have said, "Yeah, sure, make an 8-minute video." I'll be honest with you, coaches don't watch your highlight video for all 8 minutes. They're too busy. There are too many prospects. So I think the ideal length, honestly, is between 2 and 4 minutes. If I'm being totally transparent, I probably know within 90 seconds whether or not I'm going to watch the next 90 seconds, and then I'm probably out. And I think most coaches would agree with me. So what should you put in there? First of all, put your best stuff right up top, right? Your top 5 clips should be the first 5 clips, but they shouldn't all be the same. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen where the player uh, smashes a goal in from 35 yards, good strike, great technique, maybe a little lucky. And then we see that same type of goal for the first 4 clips. I would spread those out a little bit. Show some defending, show some movement off the ball. If you have a longer clip where you maybe get the ball 2 or 3 times in 20 seconds, that's a good clip. The other thing is you need to make it really clear who you are in each clip. So, those little things you can do, and most of you guys are pretty good with video. Put a little circle around yourself or a little arrow. Um, you don't have to have flames coming out of anywhere, um, or fireworks after you score the goal, but that little animation will be good. Okay. Um, the video that's at an elevated angle is much better. So the stuff from the VO camera, really good. The stuff from the top of the bleachers, really good. The stuff that's taken sideways by your mom sitting in her little fold-out chair on the sideline, not as good, unless it's a really good highlight. Um, and just don't, I wouldn't put any music in it. Coaches generally just hit the mute button. Plus, I have heard of um, players who put highlight videos together. They add their favorite song, usually hip hop. Not always the cleanest, not a good idea. But how about this? How about copyright infringement? And now your video is taken down, and the coach gets that good old 404 thing, pops up, video not available. You don't want to mess with that either. Okay. If you would like to have you get more information, again, on our college placement page on the website is this little handout here, and it's got a little bit more for you. All right. All right. A couple more things, and then I think a coach or two is ready to talk to you guys. How do you contact a coach ahead of a tournament? Pretty simple, right? So um, you send them an email. Email is generally the best way to do it. Once you get into a texting relationship, shall we say, with a college coach, great. But I think emails ahead of a tournament are better. You know how we all are with our text messaging. It scrolls, it ends up getting buried, and then they've got to go back through to find it. I think this is a better way to do it. And so what do? You keep it sweet and short. Coach Guardiola. My name's Diego Maradona. I'm really hoping you can see me play at X, whatever the showcase tournament is. I'm interested in your university, and here's why. That's a good one. Make sure you mention your team, your jersey number. That's important. Your position, and then the schedule. Um, Make sure that the schedule is correct. And if it changes, let the coach know, which can happen. We all know that, right? Nothing worse than the coach agreeing to come watch you play. Field number changes or game time changes. Coach shows up, wonders where you are. Not a good look, right? Make sure that your sports recruits profile is in there and a highlight video. And then, of course, your contact information. And again, an example of this or a full profile there, or way to kind of copy and paste is available on our website as well. Okay. All right. I think we've got both of them on the call. Yeah, I do believe we have them. So, ta-da! Here's the big surprise. Really happy to have these guys join us. Current college head coaches. I know both of them a bit personally. We cross paths all the times and in many different ways. But these are two gentlemen who both coach against each other at times in the Northwest Conference, which is the conference that includes PLU in Tacoma, UPS in Tacoma, and others around the Pacific Northwest. So really happy to have Andy Duvall, who's the head coach at Linfield University for the men, and another men's head soccer coach at Pacific University. Brandon Porter is with us as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop presenting, make sure they're here, make sure they're not on mute, and get started. Hang on a second. Okay. All right. Andy and Brandon, paging Coach Duvall and Coach Porter. Come in, come in. Say hello.
Hey there, Keith.
Hi, Brandon. And Andy, you with us?
Hey, Keith. Hey, everybody. Yep, I'm here.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time. 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Happy holidays to you two guys.
Same to you.
Well, yeah.
Uh, in the in the interest of full disclosure, I guess that's the phrase. My son plays for one of these men. He's with Brandon at Pacific University, um, and yeah, so it's a small world, that's for sure. All right, guys, I got a few questions for you, and then if any of the 20-some kids on the call want to ask you a question, now's the time, guys. Throw it into chat, and I'll either pass it along or maybe give you the opportunity to ask them in person. But why don't we just start with you tell us a little bit about your program, where you're located, a little bit about the university, obviously, and then maybe your background um, in this awesome sport of soccer. So we'll go alphabetical, which means, well, yeah, Duval wins that in both cases, first and last name. Sorry, Brandon. All right, Andy, talk to us about Linfield.
Yeah, so Linfield University is in McMinnville, Oregon, 40 miles south of the city of Portland. We are in what is considered the Willamette Wine Valley region. It's a very agricultural area. It definitely feels like a small town out in McMinnville, roughly 35,000 people there. The university itself is a small private university that has just under 2,000 students of undergrads, and the university it has a lot of athletes, like a lot of small private universities do. Roughly 40% of the student population is student athletes. So I think if the numbers are similar to what they were in the 2022-23 year, about 1,700 students, undergrads, and then roughly 650 of those are student athletes. So a lot of the small private schools that you're going to find in the Northwest are going to have a large number of student athletes if they have an athletic program, and the student athletes carry a large amount of the enrolled people at the university. So they end up being, I guess, well followed, well documented. The athletic programs get a lot of attention at the small private schools, and so it makes for a fun atmosphere for a lot of the student athletes that go through those programs in each of the sports that they offer. Linfield has 22 athletic programs and 56 majors on offer. It was a college, meaning it did not offer graduate programs until 3 years ago, and then it became a university and began to offer graduate programs.
Hmm.
It does not offer PhD programs, only master's level programs. And I believe we have 7 of those on offer now, in addition to the 56 undergraduate programs that are there. So that's a little bit about Linfield University. The last thing I'll say, and I will preface this by saying I have not actually confirmed this, but somebody had once in the last 6 months told me that Linfield is actually, if not the largest, one of the largest campuses of Division III schools in the country. We do have a fairly large campus in terms of just the amount of land that the campus takes up, and it is, having been at more rural schools, because or more urban schools rather, it's definitely a rural institution. It the campus, it'll take 15 minutes to walk across campus, which that's a lot of minutes in a small private university. And some
Yeah.
schools you can walk across the campus in less than 5 minutes. So it does have a pretty expansive campus for being a small private school.
Great. And just Andy, your background in soccer.
Yeah, so I played at Concordia University in the city of Portland. We were an NAIA institution for many years, and then went NCAA Division II before the university actually closed its doors in 2020. I was at Concordia University as the first assistant for 9 years, from 2011 until 2020. And oddly enough, I guess, scheduled, so to speak, to take over the program in December of that year. And in February, the president announced that he was going to shut the school down. And so that was when I got a call from a few places, but Linfield was the place that I responded to a call from. And my wife and I did not want to leave the state of Oregon. We were very happy there, and started our family in Oregon and wanted to stay. So we stayed in Portland for a couple of years. My wife works at Oregon Health Sciences University in the city of Portland, and I commuted back and forth for a little while, and now we live in McMinnville, right next to campus. So yeah, that's my short background in soccer.
Yeah, the late and great Concordia University of Portland. That was sad and surprising news when the entire university shut down. All right. Okay, Brandon, talk to us about the boxers and your background in soccer.
Sure. Yeah, Pacific University, really similar. Honestly, a lot of the schools in our conference are similar in a lot of ways. Size, the majors offered. Pacific is a little more geared, honestly, towards kids who want to go to graduate school. So it's a liberal arts school. The university offers a lot of graduate degrees, such, PsyD, pharmacy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. So it has an MBA program. So a lot of kids will come here with an eye towards graduate school. Like McMinnville, Forest Grove is about 30 to 45 minutes west of Portland, depending kind of where you're at. Another kind of rural suburb, college town. Pacific is actually, I guess, Linfield has a fun fact for size. Pacific has a little fun fact for age. It's the oldest university west of the Mississippi. So 1849 is when the school was founded. And
I didn't even know that, and I've got a kid going there.
Yeah, and
Learn
Oregon wasn't
learn
even
something every day.
Oregon wasn't even a state at that point, technically. But yeah, really, a lot of the schools are very similar that way. And our athletic department is similar in that we have 24 varsity sports, so a lot of athletes, everything from football, obviously not to the level that Linfield has historically, but all the way down to rowing and crew, golf, and everything in between. So I'm an alumni of Pacific University, so I graduated. I played here, graduated in 2009, and then I went off and started coaching. While I was in grad school, I went to Northern Arizona University and coached women's soccer there for 4 years. So a Division I school in the Big Sky. I was an assistant coach, and then I did 5 years down in Southern Oregon at Oregon Tech. So I coached the women, and I also coached the men for a little bit at the same time, which was a lot. And then I came up same year as Coach Duval. So during COVID, during 2020, came up, had an opportunity to interview for this job, and kind of always knew it was a job that I wanted, even when I was 19, 20 years old. So that's kind of my background, and happy to be here on this call for you guys. And I get to skip out on club practice tonight for this, so very pleased about that.
Right.
So thank you.
All right, yeah, and it's probably pouring down rain down there. So yeah, we picked the right night. Okay, guys, thanks. And I can speak, obviously, having watched the Northwest Conference in person many times this year, and even before my son was running around the soccer fields in your conference. Really high level for a Division III conference. Obviously, it's as good as it gets. And you guys both have programs on the rise. You've done fantastic jobs, with your teams. So here are the questions I think that are obvious ones. I'm sure that folks on the call would like answered. All right, so you're Coach Duval, you're Coach Porter. I really want to play either for Linfield or Pacific, or I just want to be noticed. I just want to maximize my exposure. What are the best things that a club soccer player can do? And let's just say we're talking about a kid who's maybe a sophomore in high school, sophomore, junior, to get noticed by someone like yourself. And we'll start with, we'll let Brandon go first on this one.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it, but honestly, I think if it's a sophomore or junior, they need to get on campus and see the campus, and they need to get in front of us. We could say, and they need to go to tournaments and play in higher level showcases and contact us and email us. But, getting in front of us on our own campus where there's a little less distractions, in all honesty, kind of etches them into my memory a little bit better. If we go to a tournament, let's pick one. If we go to Pac Northwest Showcase in January and it's cold and it's wet and there's a lot of things going on and a lot of fields, it's hard to really be memorable there.
Yeah.
Versus coming to one of our own ID camps or getting on campus and putting a name to a face. I think that can be very, very helpful. So that's just one piece. Maybe I'll let Andy take a little bit too and keep kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, I think to get on campus is an important piece, and I think try to find a way to be distinctive. Try to find a way to set yourself aside. It may be that you're a 4.0 student. I will be very honest. I don't really understand in today's generation where all the 4.1, 4.7, 4.3s come from. Couldn't
Right.
really couldn't really do better than a 4.0 when we were going through school, but now it seems like there's a large number of kids that end up with above a 4.0. So good for them for being able to do that when none of us could figure it out.
Yeah,
But
right.
I think, GPA sets you aside, definitely makes you more attractive. Having somebody that can speak on your behalf definitely makes a big difference. I mean, we as coaches, the coaching world is a very small world. I think a lot of people think that it's a big world. It's not. It's a very small world. Many of us know one another, and there are a lot of coaches in the club world, like Keith, who have been around the game for a long time, and their recommendations and their vouch for young athletes is extremely important when it comes to trying to get noticed by college coaches. I mean, I look at several players that are recommended to me by people in my network every recruiting class, and
Hmm.
I will definitely prioritize those players over a random player that I know nothing about who emails me prior to a tournament. So if I've got myself and my assistant at an event, and we've got three players at the same time that we want to watch, and two of those players were recommended to us by somebody that we know, somebody that's in our network, we'll probably choose those two over the player that didn't get a recommendation from us. So I think GPA, knowing somebody who can vouch on your behalf, are two other ways that you can continue to try and get yourself noticed.
Yeah, right. So pay attention. That's, get yourself on their campus. And if that school is having an ID camp, that's one of the best ways to do it. But you don't have to necessarily wait for that, especially if you're of a certain age where the coach can just host you. And then having that reference or two, I think is really important as well. Yep. Thanks, guys. So what do you look for? That's the next obvious question. Like, I want to impress you. I'm a Valor 2007 Premier Gold player. I want to play in college. You're coming to watch. What kind of things are you looking for, even if it only is just one match? And we'll start with Andy. What are the things that you do to um, basically decide on whether or not you've got a real prospect in front of you?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think this is kind of a dangerous question to pose to just a couple of coaches because, being frank, many of us are going to look at this one differently. Each coach has their own way of evaluating players and deciding if somebody that they want to go after is worth continuing to go after. But I think something that may be constant amongst many coaches is, do you make the players around you better? It's an important thing that you want to stand out. You want to stand out to college coaches while they're watching you. So you want to be one of the best players on the field, but is you being the best on the field at the expense of the team playing well? And
Hmm.
so I think that's going to be something that coaches will be able to identify is, okay, so the player that I've come to watch gets on the ball a lot. They seem to be trying to make things happen, but the rest of the team isn't really benefiting from what it is that they're doing with the ball. The efforts that they're making aren't resulting in any sort of product on the field for their team. And if we're being very direct, I mean, end product is one of the greatest assets that any player can provide a team is, can you provide something that helps with the end product, be it in the defensive phase or in the attacking phase? And very rarely are you going to be able to do something by yourself. So can you make the players around you better in the way that you play the game? And if the answer is, well, I don't really know how to do that, I can't do that, then it's important to try and change the way that you play in order to involve the team in the way that you're trying to succeed on the field. So you want to be one of the best players on the field, and you want to do it in a way that involves other people so that you make the team around you better. That would be kind of a general comment from me.
Yeah, it just, you kind of touch on that. I call it trying too hard itis, right? You don't want to try too hard because that can, first of all, put you in a mental space, too much anxiety, or take you away from what does make you good. And I think you guys have enough experience in watching soccer players that you don't have to see um, everything that is special about them in 10 minutes. It'll probably show itself if they just kind of play their soccer. Brandon, what qualities do you look for in both a player and a person when you're ultimately making your decisions, whether you're watching them or getting to know them?
Yeah, honestly, if I'm at a field watching kids play, they need to have a unique trait to them. The reality of it, D3, is we're not going to get a fully formed, perfectly well-rounded, unbelievable athletic, super smart, great team. They're not going to have every single aspect, right? And that's at most levels. You're not just going to have the perfect player. What you're going to have is players that have a good amount of strengths and weaknesses. And what we need to decide as coaches is there something special that can get you on the field for our team? We had a couple guys on our team this year that had some major holes in their game, but because they were just fast, like just being fast, got them on the field and got them to be successful for us. Did they have other things they need to work on? Sure, absolutely. So I think that's one thing. If there's a player that's great in the air, I want to be able to pull up to that game and see, can that actually translate to our level? I think that's something that's the easy thing. In all honesty, that's the easiest thing. What I like to see, and it's getting harder and harder to find, in all honesty, is a player's level of focus for an entire game. Because oftentimes maybe we're there for one game on Sunday, right? And that's maybe game number 3 of a weekend, or Saturday afternoon, that's game number 2 of a weekend. The guys have already played one. And their level of focus and effort is just not there. And not so much effort, but their level of focus is just not there. And you can see it. And so what I like to watch if I'm going to watch a kid play for 45 to 90 minutes is, are they focused in really intense moments? Are they focused in the mundane moments? Do they have that level of focus? Because I know it sounds really silly, but it's something that we harp on a lot with our guys, because I think the mistakes that are made at the lower levels, D3s, D2s, and As, are not due to a lack of skill. They're just due to a lack of focus. Mistakes that are made they're focus. They're not effort a lot of the time.
And it's hard. Yeah. It's hard too, because you're right. If it is match 3 in 56 hours or whatever the case may be, it is very easy to lose your mental focus, never mind the physical part of it. As I like to tell the players all the time, you never know who's watching. And I don't think you guys, I mean, obviously, you want to recruit winners, quote unquote, but I don't think the score of the match is really affecting how you evaluate a player. So losing focus because you're up 3-0 or even down 3-0 probably can be a real hindrance, especially if the coach is just walking up at that moment. I've seen it happen.
I'll give you an example. I was in San Diego for Surf Cup, a month ago or whenever that was. And I'm watching a team from Utah play based off a recommendation of somebody else. And so I'm watching this kid play, and he's great. He's a good outside back, really solid. Definitely a kid who we would recruit. And it's like third game of weekend. Everybody's real cranky. And the kid on his team throws a punch, lands it, and gets immediately ejected. And this kid runs into the fray and doesn't start swinging. He grabs his teammate and tries to just get him away and bear hug the guy and just try to get the whole temperature of the game down and try to get it under control. And to me, that stood out. I mean, that's one thing that any coach watching a team play, something like that, stands out too. And playing a man down with adversity, he played better. And I think that's also something you want to see is, do they do something unusual in an unusual situation? Because, Coach Duval and I know in our conference, all sorts of weird things happen. And you're playing on no rest, a team that has rest, and you have a terrible referee you don't know, or somebody goes down with an injury, or the game is delayed to it, whatever. All sorts of strange things happen. And so you have to be able to deal with adversity. And so, I think showing some maturity, because these club games just kind of, honestly, they kind of just melt together sometimes. And so I don't know. I like it when people show a little bit of personality and maturity. For 16 or 17 or 18-year-old guy or girl, that's can be really tough. But those things stand out in helping us identify recruits.
Yeah. Emotional composure. right? And he showed not only his emotional composure in that moment, but actually assisted someone who wasn't showing the greatest level. And sometimes the emotional composure, I'm going to talk about the girls' side of the game. It can be keeping your confidence in moments, not necessarily getting hot under the collar and doing something silly. All right, guys, I value your time. I said 9:30 at the latest, so I know I've got one more important question. It's the one that the parents are probably thinking about. Neither Pacific nor Linfield is the cheapest university on the planet to attend. A lot of these Division III schools are expensive. When you see the sticker price, you get on the website and you see something north of $50,000 a year, or whatever it might be, um, and no athletic aid available. I know a lot of kids in our club, guys, would love to play Division III soccer. They want to know if they can afford it. So we'll start with Andy. Talk to me about the dollars and the cents.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, the sticker price is just literally that. It's just the sticker price. I mean, you have to look at it, and I don't want to make this sound inappropriate in any way, but you're walking into a store where everything is marked as the original price as really expensive in order to help you uh, make it seem valuable. And then it's all going to go on sale the second you walk in the store. All right. And that's basically the way that I would try and categorize this. The sticker price is not what it's going to cost. All right. And at many D3 institutions, the sticker price can seem like it's a lot more hefty than some Division I, Division II, particularly state schools. But what you're going to find is that the academic scholarship packages are going to be significantly larger than what you would earn at many other institutions that operate at the Division I and the Division II level. Speaking from my most recent transition from a Division II university to now working in the Division III world, at Division II, of course, we would monetize our recruits. We would look at them and try and identify what amount of athletic scholarship they would be worth in order to try and attract them to our university. And then we would do our best to package that with what we knew to be the academic money that they were going to earn in order to make school affordable. And it was tricky at times. It was tricky to try and hit a number that was going to make it possible for that family to be able to afford the institution that I was at. I will say it's a lot easier being in the Division III world, because most of the time what I can tell the student athlete is, here is the average cost that a student athlete or a student, general student even, at Linfield pays to go to school here. And it is significantly less than the sticker price. I mean, over 50% less. And so that average cost is basically there to try and give them a starting figure to say, okay, is that doable for our family, knowing that they could end up having less of an expense because maybe their GPA is higher than the average student at Linfield, meaning
Right.
they have a higher amount of academic scholarship granted to them. So I would simply say, don't be discouraged by the sticker price. Nobody pays the sticker price at Division III schools. As a matter of fact, most students are going to pay less than 50% of the sticker price. And the sticker price is there to essentially create value in the education.
Yep. Brandon, anything to add to that?
Yeah, as Andy said, there's going to be the academic merit scholarship, which is your immediate award based off of, for Pacific, it's just GPA. It's kind of a sliding scale. And Andy hit it right. And I always use the analogy of a car dealership. Maybe no one knows anymore what it's like to actually have to haggle a price, since cars are way more expensive now. But yeah, you'd be silly to walk into a school and say, "Oh, it's this. Oh, cool. I'll just pay this right now." No one's going to do that. And so you have to be your own advocate in a lot of ways. On top of the academic merit scholarship money, There's a lot of talent scholarship, outside talent scholarships at all of these private schools too. I mean, one of our biggest one and one we keep pushing kids to, if they have any musical talent whatsoever, we just push them to apply for the band scholarship. And if they've played the drums before and they're willing to play drums from 8 to 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night every other week, they get like $8,000 a year right there. And I think it's one of the most lucrative scholarships at our school. And the thing is that they don't put a cap on how many you can get. So
Right.
if
You can stack these, right? You can bundle them.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So like
Yeah.
it adds up. So let's say you get a $28,000 a year academic merit scholarship, that big one, just based off of GPA. Then you get a band scholarship for $8,000 a year. Then you get a senior preview day scholarship for a couple thousand. You get a pace setter scholarship for $3,000 a year. And before you know it, it brings it down to $20,000 to $28,000 a year is what you're going to pay full all in. And now you have to do some work though. You have to actually apply for those scholarships. You have to communicate with the coach so that we can communicate with the admissions counselors who are the gatekeeper to financial aid. So the money that would normally go to coaches at a school that did give scholarships for athletics, that money's it's the same amount of money that a D2 school has. It's just the money's all being held in financial aid. And so my big thing is that Andy he hit it right on the head. Like nobody's going to pay that. That's how you create value. But you need to do the work as families to bring that number down, and you can do it by being aware of all those the scholarships that are available at those schools, and they're just not athletic. So
Right. But they're academic in many ways. And just,
Mhm.
speak openly about my own son in your program at your university. Yeah. The higher the GPA, the more scholarship you get right off the top. And Evan did well. And so, yeah, it almost cut the price in half, quite frankly, right there. And so players need to understand that, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the hour, what you're doing academically is going to make you're going to triple the opportunities that you'll have to play college soccer. All right, guys, it's 9:30. Andy, Brandon, thank you very much. Appreciate it. This is being recorded, so we'll be able to put it up on our website. People can watch it after the fact if they weren't here tonight. Wish you guys the best. Have happy holidays. I'll be rooting for the Wildcats in every match except for when they play Pacific. Sorry, Andy, but at least for one more year, I gotta root for the Boxers.
Sounds good. No problem.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Matt. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay.
Later, Andy.
See ya.
We're gonna show you the list of ID camps, and then we're out of here. Okay. So important to kind of know what and Linfield has a camp. So before some of you jump off, if you're interested, the types of camps, right? So you got a specific college camp. That means one college hosts a camp. They're the only ones there. It's basically on their campus. It's their coaching staff. You're only going to be looked at by them. Okay. Very valuable if you have extreme interest in that school. You have a multi-college camp, which means it's either hosted by a youth club, a select program, which I went to last weekend, myself for Green River College, or a specific college hosts it and they invite a few other colleges to come and join them. And then there's a big combine camp. You probably get emails about that every once in a while. They're run by an external company, and a lot of times that's for profit, but it doesn't mean they don't have value. So I'm going to give you my advice, okay? They can be very expensive. So you got to choose wisely. I don't believe you should attend a specific college camp that's run by a school and only that school is in attendance unless you're really interested in that school academically and in regards to soccer. And I want to also say this in full transparency, the higher the level, the lower the chances you're actually being identified or would ultimately be offered a spot in the program. So I'll just say it like it is. If you're going to go to the University of Washington ID camp and they're the only college there, that's generally more for them creating some revenue and some branding and some marketing than it is for you to get an offer out of one of those camps. The D3 schools absolutely value. The multi-college camps, I think, are the most valuable. as long as the list of schools in attendance includes ones that you're interested in. The combines, I'll tell you what, you can get yourself in front of 50 coaches at the combines. But sometimes they get too big and they don't really have bang for the buck, so to speak. So I'm going to obviously make this slide available to you. All of this has links immediately to these ID camps. There are a couple this weekend that you could potentially attend. There's one in Seattle on the 17th for the boys. St. Martin's, a Division II school down in Olympia, has an ID camp on the 19th. And this isn't all the ID camps out there, but I did as much homework as possible and tried to make it easy for you. Because honestly, if you really want to catch the eye of a program and they're attending one of these camps or hosting them, great way to do it. And I think some of you have already done it and you need to. Okay. All this is available or will be on the website. Really appreciate your time tonight, everybody. Hopefully you got some knowledge from Andy and from Brandon. And it's just the phrase that I say, you can make it there, wherever there is from here. Okay. We're doing everything that we possibly can within the pride, our group of Lions, to make sure you have the resources. If you ever have any questions about anything, let me know. You do not have to go make the top team in the state. You don't have to win a high school championship to play college soccer. You've just got to want it for yourself. And you got to become the best soccer player you can. Okay. And a really good student as well. Good night, everybody.